Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Ann Birchard. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today we're going to make a happy birthday card, more of a grungy feel to it. So let's get started. I'm going to be using the brick stencil. I don't know if you can see that. And what I'm going to do, I'm using Smoky Slate cut at 5.5 and 4 1/4, and I'm going to tape this on the back of my stencil using some low-tack tape, or if you have washi tape, that works as well. And you want to make sure it's not going to move. You can also use your Tombow mono glue. If you smear it all over the stencil, very thin layer, set it aside for a couple minutes, you will create a low-tack temporary adhesive to the back of your stencil, which is great. So put that down, flip it over. I'm going to be using embossing paste. Little dab will do you, and I want to give you this hint of when you're using embossing paste, have another piece of cardstock ready to go because you will have extra and you don't want to waste it. So as you can see, I've got my extra card ready to go. Always put the lid on. You don't want the paste to dry out. If it starts to dry out, add a little bit of water, a couple drops at a time, and stir it up until it's rehydrated. I'm going to color my embossing paste with Merlot Ink. Just a couple of drops. And then I'm going to use the palette knife and just smear it in. It almost looks like royal icing. Don't eat it. And once you got the color you want, if you think that's too dark, add some more paste. If it's too light, add some more Reinker. Okay, and now I'm going to spread. Now we're going for the grunge look, so I don't want it perfect. And I want just a little at the top. And just a little at the bottom. When you're using embossing paste, you need to quickly wash your stencil and the knife, otherwise it'll cake on. You can get it off, but it's not going to be fun. So you have a little bit more left we can hit. Again, I want a grungy look, and that is perfect. So I'm going to stop here, run and rinse this off so I don't ruin my stencils. I'll be right back. And before I rinse it off, let me show you the reveal. Woo! Isn't that pretty? I like that. So let me set this aside and go rinse everything off. I'll be right back. All right, so I am back. I've watched the stencil and the palette knife, and I have let this dry for about 20 minutes or so, just so I'm not smearing it after this. Even though it's a grunge look, I still don't want it that grungy. So I'll go ahead and take off the tape, and let's start adding to this. I'm going to be using Merlot and Smoky Slate to create the grunge background. And here's the original card. So let's start with Smoky Slate. And today I'm going to be using Gallery Grunge, Well Said, and Parisian Beauty. So we'll start off with Gallery Grunge. And this one, since it's grungy look, I don't care about perfect. And then wipe this off. Get the next one out. I think I'll use the dots, the splotches, if you will. And I'm just layering on top. It's a grunge. And next I'm going to use, put this away, I'll go ahead and use the Mary Merlot. And again, with the newer style, you can squish it in the back to pop it open or open it like a compact. And I'm going to use the words from Parisian Beauty. So load it up. And actually I'm going to get some scratch paper here and just stamp off, because I don't want it full force here. Stamp off. Stamp off. And I'm going right over the texture paste as well. It's supposed to be grungy. All right. Put that away. And then, oh, I still need this. See, every single time. All right, I'm going to use one of the acrylic blocks as a palette. So I'm going to pick up a little ink, and then I'm going to use the Aqua Painter. Give it a little good, ooh, and Aqua Painter just bled all over. Sweet. And I'm going to flick some color. Again, I want a grunge. If it's too much for you, we can go ahead and grab a rag. I'm going to wipe off this. The tips will stain, but it will not ruin your project, your next project. Let's see, how's it looking? I think I want a little bit more splatters here, because it will dry back, meaning it's going to dry a little bit lighter. There, I think we're good. Wipe this off. Clean up my workspace because I've got water everywhere. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. Then on just a scratch piece of Smoky Slate, oh, keep going. If I don't clean it now, I'm going to put my finger in it. You saw me do it. I'm going to stamp on the Smoky Slate in the Mary Merlot, Happy and Birthday. Let's line this up a little bit. Happy. And then Birthday. And then this end. All right. Set that aside, and I just sloppy cut, so we don't care. We're going for the grunge look, and then ripped it in between. I think I'm going to trim this down just a bit. There we go. All the supplies for this project will be listed in the description box. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I post. But I post every Friday, so set your calendar to that. Now that I've ripped it and trimmed it down, I'm going to just flick the edges in the Mary Merlot. Now my ink pad is a little juicy, so I had to be careful not to put my fingers in that. Let that soak. And all I'm doing is just flicking a little bit. All right, let's close this up because my fingers are already a mess. Now, this is dried, and I'm going to trim this down to, oops, it won't fit on that one. I'm going to trim this down to 5 by 3 3/4. So there's 5. And 3 3/4. There you go. Probably save those for another project. And now I am looking for my basic black. I've cut basic black to 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm going to go ahead, clean off my desk here, and mount the textured to, now I can't find my Snail Adhesive. Good times. Found it right where it's not supposed to be. Okay. Remember, it doesn't have to be hurricane proof, just 7-year-old proof. And I ran out. Perfect. With Stampin' Up, their adhesive, you save the base and just buy the refill. And it snaps like that, and you're back in business. Line it up. There we go. And let's go ahead and add the birthday. And then I'm going to pop up the happy using Stampin' Dimensionals. Just to give it a little pop. You can make a little divot in each of these Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, and then you can take off the release paper. A lot easier. And I'm going to put it like that. Set that aside. Now the card base is Smoky Slate, cut at 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4, or just fold in half. Give it a good press. Get my bone folder. Give a nice crease to that. Going to add some more snail to the back. Doesn't have to be hurricane proof, just 7-year-old proof. And add that to our card front. There you go, all done. And that didn't, it took a little bit longer. You have to wait for the paste, but let me show you some other examples that I did. And I will make some cards. Here are some other examples I made using the embossing paste. Now, if you remember in my other video, and I'll link it up above, I used this stencil with ink and a makeup brush. Well, I thought I had cleaned it off, but I didn't. And so, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the faint rainbow in the embossing paste. So that turned out well. It was supposed to be white on white, but I'll take it. This is also Rococo Rose. Here's white on white with clouds. Here is soft suede. My stencil moved, but guess where my sentiment's gonna go? Right there. Here's polka dots, and this was white on white. Some more Rococo Rose. So I will save these and I will create some cards using those. But here's the card that we made. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, don't forget to hit subscribe and bell notification. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day.